co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino, who should be here this afternoon. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Good morning, another juice up. Again, month end, quarter end, it'll just keep going till it goes. Barely over the 200 day. Good morning, Sashi. Good morning, Options 22. I keep getting asked the question, when's it going to end? Don't know. Hey, Georges, how are you doing? Hey, Davey. That's why you trail out. That's why you trail out. Remember, the components, remember, mega caps are a huge component of the S&P 500. You have your Apple, Tesla, Nvidia, Meta, Amazon. We got that buy signal in Amazon. And that's over 22% of the index. So just hitting a core group of stocks can juice things higher. I can look at PayPal. Can't believe we're off the lows in just 2 weeks, 6 weeks, selling recovered in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's just that price. Again, bear market rallies, rip your face off rallies. Then everybody goes, when's it going to end? I don't want to miss it. Then they all buy in at the end. And then I don't know what's going to trigger the rollover. Do not know, but we're getting more and more potential sell setups. Can this keep going through April 1st? Easily. Could it tip tomorrow? Sure. It's why trail. Know where your stops are. And if you don't chase it, do not chase at this point. Your reward to risk longer term is not good. Howdy, Rams fall. So, again, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting that like button. Longer term viewers, please like and comment on the videos. With that, let's see where we sit. Let's see. Let me refresh this real quick because we have Williams speaking right now. We have a bunch of Fed speakers. They're not even all listed in here. There's a ton of Fed speakers coming out. Let me just see. House prices coming in hotter than the last month. Last month was revised. I have to look again. Housing price index, again, very steep year over year, 18.2% up. Next major thing, though, we're going to be watching is the consumer confidence coming out in about 54 minutes. So pay attention to that. Your FOMC still about 70%, pulling back a little from yesterday. Your gamma still easily in positive gamma territory, which with rallies, it still just dampens a bit. So even we can still have these strong rallies. The flip point is 45.14. And here we go. Here's the harmonics that we put up last night. Let's see where we sit. Again, you see we paused right here. Now we're in this major harmonic zone. Where do we look from here? Well, I don't even have any short-term harmonics right now because we don't have enough of a pause. So I'm going to be figuring those out in a bit. But if you want a little clue, the still major area, we just don't have a key pause. You see on this 4 hour, we've already exerted everything and come up to this 46.11 one. My next target's then going to be 46.32. Again, again, we can remain overbought. Can it keep going? Sure. It's now above this key resistance, becoming potential support about 45.78. Next target area above 46.31 is right about 46.62 area. So that's going to be the targets I'm using to upside. If we start pulling back, I'm watching the 1 hour rotation zone for any key support, but this is, again, getting really hot up against a harmonic. So not chasing anything here. And then if we start breaking further back, I'm really going to be focused most of today. If we start pulling back on this 45.69, I'm leaving these harmonics on here too because 45.63 to 45.69 is my first area of support. And we're getting really overdone from the daily, but it can easily keep going. The daily back support around 45.15 area. Let's see who else is here. It will end when the last of the bears capitulate. Now, I know a lot of bears that aren't going to capitulate even if this were to go to new highs. Because it's all it's doing is ignoring the macro backdrop. You can still trade around a core position, but it's ignoring the macro backdrop. Everything's fine. Now the new talks are with the ceasefire and everything. There's going to be this move everything's justified by, okay, it's rallying this, it's rallying this. We already have been expecting the rally. It's going on longer, and everything's going to be to justify why it's got to be bought higher and higher and higher. But would I want to buy it up here? The great time to buy something, at least for a trade, was down here when we started talking about there's setting up for a rally. It's not chasing it up here. NASDAQ, again, right against that 200. Next target area for me is 1531 higher. So that's really where we're watching. But sitting against that NASDAQ through those harmonics, I'm going to keep me watching on a pullback about 1570 to 1575. If we drop below that, coming in about 15,000. Those are my levels there. And the higher is just, there's nothing else to really update besides short term. Again, if we did drop below 15,000, the next major support area is about 14,850. Dow, let's see, the Dow pushing up through that harmonic, next major target. See, again, it's when you can't do harmonics easily with this, it's just getting to those silly levels. Pullback would be 35,000, and then 34,919 are the first key levels. And I just really focus on that 34,919. If we drop below there, 34,788, 34,800 really. Area I have to go out to the daily to look to see where we're sitting. 35,450 is the next target area higher should it continue. Russell finally trying to get its move on, so this could get some upside price action. My next key, if we're getting above 2100, we're already above that 2082, 2083 area I've been talking about. 2123, then 2136. DAX also was breaking up higher. We talked about that 50. Watch for a breakout. It did finally break out, hitting that cluster. Next target for this is 15,091. Not just a harmonic, but you can see in here prior major support becoming resistance. Crude, told you I was watching for that bigger pullback. Still getting it. My next target was the 50, and we're just bouncing off that lower. If we do break down through that, watching for rollover plays in this. You can see a little return to the 4-hour rotation zone, rotating back down. I'm really going to be focusing, unless it can get back above about 107.25, I'm focusing on a retest of the lows from the middle of March. Again, commodities have turned into dirt. I told you I was watching for sell signals in commodities. Look at gold. Does this change my thing in gold? No, this is why I trade around the core position. We are now back below the little flag pattern. Coming back down, I'm really focused on, again, this 1877. That would be the final target from that head and shoulders, which is tough to see on this chart, but it was easier to see. It never violated. Here was the shoulder, shoulder, head, and just rolling back down. So, again, now also I'm looking to for some silver today. Silver, the double, remember when it couldn't get to the first target, that was never a good sign. I took off those silver areas, but I'm watching. I should probably put them back on because I'm actually looking to pick up silver today. Let's just get this just to see what that final target is. There we go. So hitting that second target, I'm really focused if we continue, and if we don't get down far enough today, but I'm focused on this 2380 area on the physical, bouncing off that 200 right now, but I'm watching for another, if we do bounce, another rollover play, but that's key area to pick up some silver for me. Notes, keep an eye out for this. Potential double bottom. Remember, I talked about this yesterday. We're off the daily rotation zone, was watching for a bottoming formation. We now have a potential double bottom above 122.06. I'm really focused on this first target really strongly, 122.23.5. Why? Because we have the declining daily rotation zone there. Then if it pulls in there, next major target would be 123.08. And look at this. That doesn't even take you back to the weekly. So there is some room to bounce in this. Dollar index moving back down. We still do have this potential double top on a weekly basis, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. VIX, no fear, still no fear. None whatsoever. I said I was watching for it to get back down to the 16 to 18 range. It's getting close. I will watch for a potential bottoming pattern there. Here's that custom index, our mega cap custom index, which is just super juiced. Also, remember, you have companies like Apple doing major stock buybacks, which also continues to juice the stock. So bears are fighting headwinds right now. We're going to see what happens with the Fed, though. Tesla, our next area was this 109 to 111. So we're up there a little pre-market earlier. If you do get above there, then your next target. I mean, this is where I would not chase this either. This is poor reward to risk up here. Can it go higher? Sure, but your risk and your stops, unless you're trying to, for anything but a day trade, it's, from my perspective, in a very, very risky situation right now. Can it keep going through month end? Yep. But I wouldn't want to be holding a huge position up here higher rather than lower. We don't have much. Starts getting above this area. You're into another daily clear path, and your next targets are 167 to 176. I know we had a request for PayPal. PayPal's triggered the double and just sitting here at prior resistance becoming support, which is interesting because it can't even get to the first target area, but it is still viable on another push higher, 120. 121. See, you're still up against that weekly rotation zone. So if it can really start getting some traction above this little ledge, this could be an interesting breakout play too. Intraday above about 116. You can even go to 16. Let me take a look. The safer breakout play is about above 118. The aggressive breakout play is about above 116. And we're above their pre-market, so it could be played on any little pullback here from my perspective. But again, I wouldn't be aggressively holding this overnight with a huge position. But 121 is a first decent target if this rally continues today. At 124.72, 128.45, it's burning off its the daily rotation zone. So again, why is this not a longer term play? It could easily get this 128.52, but then roll over again. This is a very short term bottom, not a long term bottom. And the fact that this hasn't been able to even get to the first target with all this price action going on, there's still a lot of weakness in PayPal. Let's see. Yeah, SPL looks like Tesla stock. How does gold-silver ratio look now? This is based off the Sprott. It's pulled back a bit. It's sitting against some very good support, and this is based off the futures. Again, silver is holding up better than gold, so it's coming off the bottom. But the futures can get the story. I really like the physical PHYS, PSLV ratio. It does, because there's a lot of games that get played with COMEX in the futures. So I'm keeping an eye on here. A nice break above 174 favors silver. Now that doesn't mean you can't get a stronger pullback in both of them, but it means the gold might pull back more than silver. So I can watch for a pullback in both of them, but silver could outperform on a pullback basis. Let's see, Netflix. This is similar to a PayPal position, but no, not a real good. There's no double here. See, you're not getting a lot. Still, a lot of this isn't here. I mean, there's just a little scalp trade to the upside. But I don't like it. It's a little short play for me above about 383. but you have limited upside. Maybe you could run to the 50. But I'm more worried about, you notice how strong the market's been in the NASDAQ, and look at this is weak sauce rally. This, so if when this market rolls over again, these are the things I don't want to be in. Because if this is all the bounce it could get, I don't want to be in it. Don't like PayPal or Netflix for a, besides maybe a scalpy day trade. Don't like them. Morning, Amit. Let's see. Mike review on Bollinger Band last night is a great tip, especially if price is well extended from the rotation zone. Guessing same concepts apply to downside. Yeah, I just use different parameters for that, Amit. Let's see. Curiosity, where was the bottom of the clear path on Tesla? What were you referring to? Tesla, the bottom of the clear path. Right now, see, we don't have, if you're talking about this upwards clear path, once it gets above this area, you're into this clear path, and there's no great rotation point up there. See, I guess if you want an intermediate target to use, you have to go down to the 1 hour, which target 133, and that's in relation to this upper clear path to the downside. And this is all a clear path going back down. And you don't really have a stopping point. Your only little hitch is partway through to the gap fill at about 138. So that's your hitch to the down. So there's your downside and upside clear paths. MO. Then I'm going to wrap this up, get ready for the open. Philip Morris still holding on to the rotation zone. Again, some of this stuff, the staples are getting beat up a bit, but I'm still long-term bullish on this. What would change that? Don't want to see a close below the 50 and this trend line. Other than that, just a pullback. Let me look at the shorter-term charts. Get bullish again for me. If it starts getting above this 50, I'm going bullish earlier with 62.5 raise stop and then a gap fill play to the upside. So that's the short-term play. Other than that, longer term, you start getting a close above yesterday's high is a %B trigger for a move back up. And you're just sitting here with your weekly rotation zone. So is this still a viable long play? For me, yes, it is. I want a rotation back up at this point. I will have to do that later, Amit. Okay, good. Good morning, Lauren. So that's the little MO play. Until then, it's just the juice in the mega caps. And the junk growth, mega caps and junk growth. What do I mean? So here's like Apple. It's sitting up against here. If it it's already pre-market 176. See, it's already going to hit the next harmonic. Could Apple theoretically go to new highs? Yeah. Where is it sitting right now? Again, everything's shrugging off everything. PE back to 29. Very interesting. No sell signal yet, though. Again, I did go over that little key area, what I watch for with Bollinger Bands. If you want to weighted trail stops, that was in yesterday's market overview. Take a look at that. And with that, I'm going to get prepped for the open. Thank you for joining. And I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.